Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending the Vrakas Blum Computer Consulting monthly webinar series, today featuring e-commerce to shipping to payment processing. My name is Kelly Bergman, and I'd like to quickly address just a few housekeeping items before I hand the floor over to our presenters. All attendees are in listen-only mode. As we go along, you can type questions into the chat section on your menu bar. We will be taking Q&A right after each presentation. This is being recorded, and we will post this on our website within the next day or so. And with that done, it is now my pleasure to introduce an awesome group of folks ready to walk us through from start to finish how orders, shipping, and payments can all be integrated seamlessly into your current Sage install. First up, we're going to have Craig Jacobs, co-founder of Clearnine, the Sage 100 website people, if you check out their website, to talk about e-commerce and data management. Next, we have Matt St. John, sales exec for V Technology, showing you how their product Starship can make shipping look super easy. Lastly, but certainly not least, we have Patricia Benitez, Channel Manager for APS, showing you how they can help improve cash flow with easy payment options. Now that we're all acquainted, I'm going to hand the floor off to Craig to kick us off.
Hi, everybody. So I'm going to just take you guys through a brief basic demo of our e-commerce solution here. As we're going through the demo, one of the things that I want to emphasize is that this is truly deeply integrated e-commerce with Sage 100. So when we're going through the demo and you see catalog information, categories, items, pricing, everything is managed in Sage. So you go into Sage, you change a price, the price is updated on the website. So the idea here is that you manage your inventory and your items in the same place you manage them today in Sage. You don't have to go to an extra portal to manage web descriptions or special availability or anything like that. It's all done within Sage, mostly within item maintenance. So with that, I'm going to take you through a quick demo. This is a demo site of ours. This is a hybrid solution. So this is both for B2B and B2C e-commerce. And I'll walk you through some of the differences and show you how all that works. So for example, we can go into a category here. So these categories are all maintained in Sage 100. These are all Sage 100 inventory items that are synced out to the website with the website in real time. This is a Sage inventory item. Now, I'm not currently logged into the website, so I'm seeing standard pricing. So our application works very much like sales order entry does in terms of price calculation. So the price you see in Sage and sales order entry for a given item for a given customer is what that customer is going to see on the website if they're logged in and they have special pricing. In this case, I'm not logged in. I'm just seeing the normal the standard pricing. But we're seeing price breaks. So we do pricing, like I said, just like Sage. So quantity price breaks, price levels, price codes, customer specific pricing, price level override by product line, pricing by total quantity, by category group, like all of that stuff. So we do pricing same way that Sage does it. We're looking at the availability from Sage. Is the item available or not in the given warehouse? Main item image from Sage. We have some description fields that are user-defined fields in Sage, so you can just manage all this right in item maintenance. We have related items and additional document images and document attachments for things like price sheets and things like that. I'm going to go ahead and log in. So pay attention to the pricing. So I'm going to log in as a customer. That's linked to logging as a user. That's linked to a customer that has price level 1 pricing. So now I'm logged in. I have different pricing because now I'm seeing my specific pricing for my customer. So this is where kind of the B2B aspect comes in. And now once I'm logged in, I can also see all my account information. So I can see my orders, my invoices. I can see my open invoices. Now, normally we wouldn't turn all these tabs on for a given implementation. I just have a lot of them on here for demonstration purposes. So for example, on orders, this is what we call our combined view. So it's the invoices and it's the orders, and then all of the invoices that are attached to those orders and any tracking information that got put into Sage. So you can track if the customer can track their packages here. They can look at the order. They can drill into the invoices and see all the information. So for example, they can go drill into this sales order, see the items on the order, etc. I can actually add all my items to my cart from right here if I wanted to place this order again. I can look at the attached invoices and see that information. I can even track a package through iShip. On the Invoices tab, just a different view of invoices. We have a feature where we integrate with paperless Office. So if you're using Sage Paperless Office to store copies of your invoices and sales orders, we can secure that information securely with the website so that users can retrieve their invoices. So for example, if I drill down into this invoice, I can click this button here, and I can get the PDF copy of the invoice that Sage generated and stored. One of the nice things about our application is that our checkout process is very streamlined. Because it's so deeply integrated with Sage, if you're logged in on the website, we know pretty much everything about you. So I can add it on into my cart, go to checkout. It knows all of your information from Sage. So it knows your billing information. It knows all of the on-file ship-to addresses in Sage, so those can be selected. So when you submit the order, that's it. In this particular case, I'm going to go ahead and get an authorization through APS for my order. And submit the order. And so what will happen now is that we generate an order number. This is the same order number that shows up in Sage. Now that order will be sitting in Sage ready for pick, pack, and ship to process with that particular order number. Another feature that we have that's targeted towards B2B is we have order entry. This allows customers who kind of know what they want to order to just type in an order. So it does a lookup on item numbers and descriptions and that information, and shows them their pricing over here. They can just type in an order. So if you have customers that order the same thing all the time and they just want to quickly type in an order, they can do that. One last thing I want to show you on this side is we have a online bill pay portal. So this allows customers, and this is a standard feature, but it's an optional thing we can turn on or off. This allows customers to select invoices for payment and then pay those invoices. So they can enter their credit card information. There we go. And what this will do is this will pay these invoices off, and this will create a cash receipt entry in Sage that can just be reviewed and updated. So until that cash sheet entry in Sage is updated, the invoices show as pending, but what that did is that actually created a sale transaction through APS that's all ready to be closed out later, and you just update the cash sheets entry in Sage and the invoices are then marked as paid. So it handles all of that. We do have one other feature that I wanted to show, which is we have a salesperson logon. And so what this allows is for a salesperson to log on to the website. And they see pretty much everything that customers see, but it's essentially an ability for your salespeople to log on and check out all the customer information and place orders for their customers and possibly even pay invoices for their customers. So now that I'm logged on as a salesperson, I can see all of my customers. I can see all of my customers' information, everything that the customer can see, and I can place an order for that customer. So this is a good way if you have salespeople in the field, on a tablet or a phone, and they're out visiting customers and, they want to place an order for that customer, they can easily do that. They can just log in, pick the customer off the list, put some stuff in the shopping cart or order entry, and place an order for that customer. Just like that. And salespeople get a couple of options. They can actually determine that maybe they want to send it in as a quote instead of a sales order. So, that's a quick high-level demo. There's a lot of other little detailed features and things like that that we could, get into if you're interested in having a detailed one-on-one demo. But with that, I would turn it back over to Kelly so we can look at some shipping.
Thanks, Greg. All right, we're going to turn this on over to Matt St. John.
Thank you, Kelly. And thanks everyone for taking time to join our webinar. Again, my name is Matt St. John, one of the sales executives here at V Technologies. And today we're going to quickly go over Starship, kind of just like Craig did, high level overview. I'm going to try to jump into a demo and just really quickly process a shipment so you can kind of see, as Kelly mentioned, how Starship makes your shipping process so much easier. But first off, a little bit about V Technologies. We've been developing integrated shipping solutions since 1987, so 34 years now. That's all we do. We are located in Connecticut, and everything that we do is done in-house. So things like our support team, they're located in the office, so you're not, you call, you're going to get them. We're not outsourcing that. Also, we're a strategic UPS-ready provider as well as a Platinum FedEx compatible solution. Basically, what that means is we're a certified solution for both UPS and FedEx. So things like our labels are already certified, so you don't have to go through those pains. And then also, we are part of their subsidy program. So the carriers do have programs where you can qualify for free funding and, of course, use that to purchase Starship. We integrate with a dozen ERP systems, actually over a dozen, but been working with Sage the longest. Of course, we are a Sage Gold Development Partner and been working with them for 21 years now, and currently have about 10,000 customers using our integrated shipping solutions to help streamline their day-to-day shipping process. Here's some bullet points. Again, I'll try to jump into a live demo and I'll go over all this, but with Starship, one of the nice things, it's multi-carrier, multi-mode. So what that means is, as a shipper, I can process small parcel, LTL, international shipments, all just from one user interface. The nice thing, we integrate direct integrations with over 24 carriers from small parcel, LTL, even 3PL companies. And I've been finding, of course, with COVID, everything that's going on, a lot of the customers, hey, we use LTL shipments, and a lot of the carriers, they're booked solid. So, they are not going to be able to pick up our shipment for another two weeks. So the nice thing with having a solution that integrates with so many LTL carriers, for example, kind of that old scenario where, hey, more tools in your shed, the better you're off. Again, live integration to those carriers. Packaging, you'll see inside of Starship, we can get into item box detail, item box pallet detail. And of course, nowadays, dimensional weight, like for UPS, FedEx, even USPS, it's a big deal where, I might be sending out something that weighs 10 pounds, but dimensionally, it's actually 19 pounds. So I'm going to be charged a difference there. With Starship, we have a database where you can even store boxes and bags, pallets, whatever it might be. And you can really set it up where, I'm going to make sure I put my items in the best box or put them all in the skid and really reduce that size and weight because, again, with dimensional weights, it's a big deal nowadays. And then even with our USPS integration, our customers gain access to cubic pricing. So if we can get that item into a small box, you're going to gain access to some discounted rate. Also included with Starship, we have an email program where you can create your own custom email template and actually send out all the shipping details to your customers. With that, the email is going to be branded with your company information, not the carriers. And then, of course, we integrate with all the other solutions, EDI, inventory management, warehouse management solutions. Kind of what Craig showed you, when we pass back the shipping information, it's going into the Sage table. So, their solution can even grab like that tracking information and automatically upload it to the order on the website. And then even with APS, we're going to send back the freight amount. So we're making sure we're going to be charging the customer the correct amount for the freight on that order. And then with Starship, we do have two different versions. We have an on-prem and now a new fully cloud version. So in my system and on the demo, I'll actually switch over. I'm actually going to be using the on-prem, but just know the cloud version looks the same. Really big differences with the cloud and the on-prem version. Cloud, SaaS-based pricing, so you can pay month to month. It's kind of based off of your shipping volume. And you do gain access to all the small parcel and or LTL carriers that we integrate with, where the on-prem is kind of a one-time fee, a la carte. You build your system, and then you just pay annual maintenance going forward after that. But on my system now is the Starship program. So as a shipper, I can quickly work just inside of Starship. I can grab, I'm going to pull by sales order numbers, but we can pull by customer invoices. I can type in that sales order number. If it's barcoded, I can even just use a wedge type plug and play barcode scanner and scan in that information. But with Starship, again, here, I'm just working inside of Starship. As a shipper, I don't need access to Sage. I don't even need Sage installed on the same machine. And with that being said, it's still a live connection. So on that sales order, those were all my sales orders inside of Sage. And then over here, I actually, all this information is flowing in from Sage. So all the information, order header, line item detail on that sales order is just all being passed into Starship. We're simply data mapping fields. So any of these Starship fields, we can just simply map to Sage fields. And that could be a standard Sage field or even a user-defined field. So for example, if anyone's doing blind shipments, we could have this set up where Starship's looking at a field and it knows, oh, this is for Tractor Supply Company, automatically going to change the sender information to Tractor Supply Company. Recipient, of course, that's my ship to information. Starship will do address validation. We validate zip +4, plus validate the residential commercial flag. And transportation, simply mapping in your ship via codes and that's selecting carrier, service, billing. Even if anyone's doing third-party collect shipments, I can have this system set up where as a shipper, I don't have to stop and touch and make any changes. We're here to help streamline the shipping process. So the less things a shipper has to touch, type, of course, the better. So again, third-party, bill, recipient, all that can be automated. So as a shipper, I don't have to touch any of this information. And then under the packaging, this is where I can get into that item box detail. Over here, I can add single boxes. If I'm processing a large order, we even have a repeat box function where I can tell Starship, hey, I need 10 boxes. If they weigh all the same, we can just copy the original weights. Again, I could set this up where quickly going to add all the additional boxes, and I'll just delete these so I don't get a bunch of labels printing. If you're using a WMS, just know however you define the shipment on the handheld device, that's how it's going to flow into Starship. So that item box detail will already be done for you. And then if I wanted to manually build the shipment, it's simple drag and drop. So I can just, I know these pillows fit in the blanket box. The blanket was actually automatically packaged for me because inside Starship, I have a packaging scenario and it knows, yep, every time they ship a blanket, it goes in a blanket box. Drag and drop, here's my drop down for that custom package database. So maybe I want to put these dinner plates in a small box, I can do that. Here are my quantities. We do allow your shippers to back order items. It's actually a security feature, so if you don't want to, you don't have to. But on the write back, just know Starship will also write back, hey, they only ship 5 out of 6 blankets, for example. Here's my actual weights. My system, I'm pulling the weights from Sage, but of course, if you had a scale, we could pull the weights from the scale or manually type in that information. And then right here is the dimensional calculation. So as you see, there's differences. And right now, what Starship is doing is rate shopping at the correct dimensional weight, and then we'll also process this to the carrier at the correct dimensional weight. So again, you're not going to receive that bill later on. Oh, you sent that one box out at 16 pounds. It should have been 19. Line item details as a shipper, usually we don't go into this, but just know Starship does have a database for, say, things like your inventory items. It can even be set up where it automatically stores that information. But we do this because maybe inside Sage, you don't have a freight class field, or in this case, being international. Here I have all that required international data already stored, already set up. So again, as a shipper, I don't have to worry about populating any of that data. And then in a live environment, usually the last spot, we go down here, and this is that live rate shopping. So over here, we're returning published list rates. Here would be your live contract charges. And then applied is simply plus or minus any freight rules. So with Starship, we fully support, things like, hey, free shipping over X amount of dollars, or maybe certain customers receive a discount. So freight rules can be percentages, min-maxes, calculations, and again, could be triggered by Sage fields, Sage user-defined fields, or even standard Starship fields. With the rating, we can even automate that as well. So maybe we want to do best way shipping. So we can have rules set up that tell Starship, hey, automatically select the least expensive carrier service. Or even switch rules. Hey, anytime there's certain items on an order, it's always got to go second day service. But again, really setting this up so we can just bring in the order and then quickly click the ship and process button, or even under the drop down, I can save. Maybe I need to create a return label at the same time. We can do that as well. But here I'll just do ship and process. And also in a live environment, what Starship would do right now is just automatically print out your shipping documents. For demos, I PDF everything, so it does take a moment to pop all the PDFs. And then I also use this special form, which you don't have to use, but most certainly we can send shipping labels to a thermal printer. And packing list, you have the option. Those can go to thermal printers, laser printers, or even save it to a network share. But here's for box 1. And let me quickly close these box 2s. Documents can be customized. And then on each of the templates you create, You can even assign printing rules. So here, because it's for Tractor Supply Company, I have a special packing list with their logo, their information, and Starship knows, oh, yep, the sender's Tractor Supply Company, automatically going to send this document or print out this document. And then, of course, international, we can generate all your international documents, shipper's letter of instruction here, the new certificate of origins, we fully support, commercial invoices, all the information going to populate. And for example, this one I customized so it's signed and dated. Now as a shipper, I don't have to worry about filling out any of the information. LTL shipments, bill of lading forms, pallet labels, so on and so forth. But as a shipper, I quickly click ship and process. Starship takes me back to the main screen, and I just grab my next order, kind of do that rinse repeat and go through that process again, and quickly back inside of Sage. I'll show you that right back. So once we click ship and process inside Starship, and if I'm pulling by a sales order, Starship will also automatically create the invoice in invoice data entry. So here's sales order 222. And on that invoice, when we go to the tracking, there's my tracking information. I can even see the item to box detail. As Craig mentioned with the iShip, we can even click this button and track it through iShip. And then also on the totals, of course, writing back freight amounts. If we're writing those back, if the order maybe came from a website, we can also do write back rules where we say, Starship, don't write back the freight amount because we've already charged them on our website. Also with Starship, we can get into custom write back. So here is a user defined field. I've named freight cost from Starship, and I'm always passing back my contract rate. That way, before we update the invoice, we can compare. In this case, hey, we shorted ourselves. What happened? The customer received a discount. No, it should be $75. And last two things I want to mention, with Starship, we give you the ability to rate shop right from sales order entry. So if I click the rate quote button, it's going to open up a screen that looks just like the Starship, but of course I can't process a shipment, but I can build the packages and do that live rate shopping. And then our dashboard program, really a reporting tool. So here I just kind of have some performance or history and status. Maybe I want to see if a shipment, the status of it. We have a heat map, so I can track, my hot spots, a bunch of canned crystal reports. And then here's that e-notify program where you can create your own custom email template, send out all the information to the customer, hyperlink tracking information. On the templates, you can even do emailing rules. So here I have a promo code. I can hyperlink promo codes, get the customer right back to my website if needed. But with these, again, unlimited templates, and you can tell Starship, this promo code only goes to these certain customers. So with that, again, basic overview of Starship and processing a shipment. Again, appreciate everyone taking time to join our webinar.
Hey, Matt, we actually have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Have one. We're looking at a 3PL. Do you work with any?
Yes, so we work with 3PLs like Freight Quote, Freight View. Freight View is actually a little different. They're actually kind of a 3PL, but they actually allow you to use your live negotiated rates that you already have with the carriers. So most 3PLs, of course, you have to use their rates. And of course, if anyone needs, I can send out a list of all the carriers and 3PLs that we integrate with.
And what does a typical Starship implementation timetable look like?
So for the on-prem version, our install teams usually book about 4 to 6 weeks in advance, but the actual install usually takes, again, depending on your system, but usually about 4 to 6 hours to get it installed. And then the cloud version is currently about 2 weeks for the team to schedule your implementation. But regardless if it's on-prem or cloud, just know we're going to first send out a pre-install document that goes over your system requirements. Then we'll have a pre-install call. Of course, in the meantime, we'll already have your installation appointment and training appointment scheduled. But on that install call with the pre-install document, really just setting it up so, when we go to do the install, we don't run into any issues, have all our ducks in a row, so to say.
Perfect. That covers them all. Thanks, Matt. All right, with that, we're going to hand the floor over to Patricia.
Alrighty, and so excited to be here. Hello, everyone. My name is Patricia Benitez. I am the Sage 100 Channel Manager here at APS Payments. And a little bit about APS. We have been in the credit card processing industry for over a decade. We process for thousands of merchants in 20 plus countries. Our customers' monthly processing volumes range from $2,000 to $20 million. We are ranked as a top 100 acquirer in the United States by the Nielsen report. We are also on the Inc. 5000 list for America's fastest growing companies, as well as a G2 Crowd High Performer. We seamlessly integrate into multiple leading ERPs, such as your Sage 100, as well as e-commerce, point of sale systems, and mobile applications, such as the gentleman on the call with me today in Clearnine and Starship. We also do offer 24/7 live support. And to dive in here, a quick statistic from an article on payments.com. 29.5 million consumers plan to continue working from home after the economy reopens. So we have this new normal post-pandemic market that we are diving into. This pandemic has altered not just our way of living, but also our jobs and how we work them. Companies are noticing that their employees can work just as efficiently from home and don't have a need to return to an office. Now, 66% of those small businesses will rely more on e-commerce sales after the pandemic. So many of these small businesses who are forced now to update to more modern payment methods will continue to utilize them long after this pandemic is over. Now, COVID has pushed more companies to move online and amplify the need to provide a business-to-consumer experience for a business-to-business customer. So if we take a minute and think about what parts of the business-to-consumer experience do we appreciate, what can we carry over to the experience to provide to your customers now? Now, this trend doesn't end with individual consumers. Business-to-business company decision makers are also staying home and looking for safe, secure, and easy ways to process business-to-business transactions remotely, such as what we've seen today on this webinar. We're seeing a workflow that's completely online, away from a face-to-face transaction, and we're just tying in that payment piece into it to offer that experience to our business-to-business customers as well. Now, priorities have shifted when it comes to payments. We're now looking for speed, security, and transparency, and that shift to integrated digital payments can offer a tremendous payoff. We're looking at reduced processing times as well as streamlined operations that increase data security, improved visibility and reporting, and of course, better cash flow and customer experience. Now, a way that we offer that is by allowing your business-to-business customers to save with something called Level 3. And of course, we're seeing this shift with payments from the old way, which is those face-to-face transactions over the phone, email, and fax, into this multi-channel ordering, self-serve, and digital payments that's all integrated into your system. Now, why omni-channel? What are omni-channel payments? When it comes to payments, the meaning of omni-channel is the ability to provide all methods or channels of collecting payments in the ways in which your customers prefer to pay. So those omni-channel solutions have information flow seamlessly between all your channels, those being your Sage 100 system, your e-commerce, point of sale, and AR solutions that your businesses use. 73% of those customers do use multiple channels during their shopping journey, and customers who use 4 or more channels spend 9% more in the store on average when compared to those who use just one channel. Now that we've established those different channels that are available to accept payments, we want to dive into your rates, beginning with your fee structures. It helps to visualize these fee structures as 3 buckets. So your flat rate, tiered pricing, and your interchange plus. And we begin with your flat rate. These are the rates offered by merchant account aggregators. For example, your Square or your PayPal, and they typically offer you a standard 2.9% and 30 cents per transaction, followed by your tiered pricing. So this is where your processor is going to bundle those interchange fees into tiers, usually a non-qualified, mid-qualified, and fully qualified, but there's no true real way to determine which transactions actually qualify for which tier. Lastly, we have your interchange plus structure, which APS uses and would put you on if you decide to work with APS. And this is the most transparent fee structure where you can also benefit from those level 3 savings. Now, I mentioned level 3, and you may be wondering, what does level 3 mean? Level 3 was introduced in 2012 in order to help businesses drive down business-to-business and business-to-government transactional costs. And in order for you to acquire these level 3 rates, Visa and MasterCard require the merchant to provide an additional amount of fields to qualify those lower rates. And by providing that information to the card brands, they deem your transaction lower risk and you get the savings. Right now, 1 in 5 American-based business-to-business companies process some or all of their transactions with level 3 data, but 80% of those companies still do not process the level 3 data. Here we have an example of the required fields for level 3 processing, and as you can see, there are a few extra requirements as levels. Level 3 would be the furthest to your right, and all of this data is automated by APS's integration into your Sage 100 system and provided on your behalf to Visa, MasterCard, and American Express to get you those level 3 savings. We do also offer a product called Click to Pay. And in a nutshell, Click to Pay allows you to embed a Pay Now button on any of your invoices that are sent out electronically through your customers through your paperless office. That way, they can facilitate their payments online on their own, and you would just have a one-step process to pull everything back inside of Sage. Is APS Payments right for you? If you're a business that's taking payments, you have these ERP, your e-commerce or point of sales mobile or any non-integrated applications that you work with, and you feel the need to tie all of these together to facilitate and streamline your process, then APS is definitely a good option for you to take a look at. Not only are we a gateway, but we're also a processor and integrator. So we are an all-in-one payment processor, and we're going to take care of those 3 points for you when it comes to your processing needs. We also do tokenize your credit card data and offer you your standard daily automatic batch reporting, your next day funding, of course, your level 3 processing, and your EMV chip functionality. APS is also multi-currency capable. We have integrated online payment portals, multiple payment options available to you. We have a very nice, robust online reporting functionality, and there is no installation, maintenance, or setup fees. Now, why does it make sense for you to engage APS Payments? If you're wondering on how to get those level 3 savings and looking to mitigate your risk by storing all that sensitive transaction data into an encrypted format, integrating APS into your Sage 100 system seamlessly is going to be very beneficial to you. If you'd like to get started with APS, we just ask for your 2 most recent merchant statements for analysis. That way we can get the ball rolling and provide you with a complete demonstration of the software so you can see the full capabilities, as well as how it ties in with Clearnine as well as Starship for your payment processing needs. And that pretty much sums up for me. I can hand it back over to Kelly.
Excellent. We do have a few questions here, Patricia. Is there an extra charge for APS Click to Pay?
No, there is no charge for Click to Pay. That functionality is available at no additional charge.
Excellent. What is the cost of payments module to work with my ERP or e-commerce?
That's a great question. There is no charge for the payments module. We make our money solely on the processing.
And finally, what if I have an e-commerce shopping cart? Does it pass the same token to the ERP for easy reconciliation?
Absolutely, yes. We use tokenization to share that data between the e-commerce shopping cart and ERP for easy reconciliation.
All right, that does it for questions. I'm going to throw up your information on the screen here so everybody can get that down if they'd like. We will be sending that out later today as well. And if there are no other questions, I'd like to quickly thank Craig, Matt, and Patricia for their time today. What a great way to spend almost an hour. We almost made it there. You guys did a great job. Thanks so much. And we'd also like to thank our attendees for taking the time out to join us for our monthly webinar series. We know your time is valuable, and in closing, if you should have any questions, reach out to any of the folks listed here, and have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thanks for joining us.